Congratulations on becoming the proud owner of a new sewing machine. It will be our pleasure to show you how best to use your purchase. First, let's get familiar with the different parts of your machine. This is the foot control. It provides power to the machine and regulates the sewing speed. If you plug this in, your machine will be powered. By applying pressure to the foot control, the sewing speed increases. Pressing the foot control gently will allow you more control while sewing. This is the balance wheel. It is used to position the height of the needle. The stitch selector can be turned to the left or the right to select the desired type of stitch. There are various types of stitches which your machine can do. Each stitch is color-coded to help you differentiate between them. The stitch length dial regulates the length of the stitch. The reverse lever is to the side of the stitch length dial. You must hold the reverse lever down for the duration of the reverse stitch. The thread tension dial is used to control your top thread tension. The recommended tension to be used for most applications is between 3 and 4. This dial should not be moved unnecessarily. This is the spool pin, which holds your spool of cotton. This is the bobbin winder, and this is the thread guide. These three are used when winding thread onto the bobbin. To access the free arm, which is used for circular sewing, remove the extension plate by sliding it from right to left. Underneath the extension plate you will find all the accessories for your sewing machine. This is the bobbin cover. The bobbin is inside the bobbin case, situated here. The bobbin case controls the tension of the bottom thread. This is the take-up lever. The take-up lever must be in this position before you start sewing. To move the take-up lever into position, turn the balance wheel towards you. Do not turn it away from you. If you turn it away from you, you will tangle your thread and jam your machine. This is the universal pressure foot. It holds the fabric in place when you are sewing. Use the pressure foot lever to lower the pressure foot. The pressure foot must be in a down position when you sew. Underneath the pressure foot is the feed dog, which automatically feeds the fabric through the machine. First, lift the spool pin and put a reel of thread on it. Next, holding the thread, pull it towards the thread guide and wind it around the tension head in a clockwise direction. Then take it right towards the bobbin winder. Now wind it onto the bobbin in a clockwise direction. Next, push the bobbin to the right and pull the balance wheel out. This releases the needle and engages the bobbin winder. Now press the foot control gently and the bobbin winder will begin winding. Once the bobbin is full, it will stop winding by itself. Remember to release the bobbin by pushing it to the left and then push the balance wheel back into its original in position. First, open the bobbin cover. Next, take hold of the clip of the bobbin case and pull the bobbin case out. Now insert the bobbin into the bobbin case, ensuring that the bobbin thread is running in an anti-clockwise direction. Run the thread through the bobbin tension slot, leaving a reasonable length of cotton outside the bobbin case. Now insert the bobbin case back into place. To do this, hold the bobbin case by the clip and push it in until it clicks into place. Finally, close the bobbin cover, allowing the thread to remain outside the cover. If you replace the extension plate for a larger work surface, ensure that the thread is on the surface. First, turn the balance wheel towards you. thereby moving the take-up lever to its highest position. Then place a reel of thread on the spool pin. Now pull the thread to your left, hooking it onto the first thread guide. Continue straight down over the tension dial, then up to the right of the take-up lever. Move the thread around and to the left, hooking it through the eye of the take-up lever. Now pull the thread straight down to the needle thread guide, hooking it in from right to left. You are now ready to put the cotton through the eye of the needle. Remember, always thread the cotton from the front towards the back. Before sewing, pull the cotton towards you with your left hand. Using your right hand, turn the balance wheel towards you, allowing the needle to go down and up once. Now transfer the end of the thread to your right hand, and with your left hand take the middle of the length of thread and pull the thread towards you, holding it parallel to the body. Using both hands, push the thread under the foot away from your body. This will pull the thread from the bobbin out from under the foot. To sew a straight stitch, switch the stitch selector to A. And on the stitch length dial, select a stitch length of between 2 and 3. Place your fabric on the work surface under the needle and lower the pressure foot using the pressure foot lever. Starting by holding the 2 threads away from the needle, gently press the foot control. Sew a few stitches and then hold in the reverse lever on the stitch length dial to select the reverse function, and sew a few more stitches in reverse. This will reinforce the start of your sewing. Now release the reverse lever and sew forwards. When you've finished sewing, again hold the reverse lever and sew a few stitches in reverse. This will reinforce the end of your sewing. Now lift the pressure foot by lifting the pressure foot lever. Remove the fabric and trim the thread. Gathering is used to create a type of effect or finish to a garment. In order to achieve gathering, switch the stitch selector to A and change the stitch length dial to number 4. Start sewing. When you're done, sew another line approximately ½ centimeter from the top stitch. Now remove and trim the thread a few centimeters away from the fabric. Pull both bottom threads to gather the fabric. The bottom thread is the one that comes from the underside of the fabric. The zigzag stitch is used for overcasting and overlocking, which is the same thing. This stitch will restrict fraying on certain types of fabric. There are 4 different size widths of stitch to select from, B, C, D or E. For the purpose of this demonstration, switch the stitch selector to E and the stitch length dial to 3. You are now ready to sew. A large number selected on the stitch length dial will result in a zigzag type stitch. A small number selected on the stitch length dial results in a close stitch. A very close stitch gives us a satin stitch finish. Some stretchy types of fabric require specialized stitch for overcasting. The stretch stitch is one of the most versatile types of stitches because it gives you the ability to sew the neck of a t-shirt. I, J and K are stretch stitches. Switch the stitch selector to I and select 4 on the stitch length dial for the purpose of this demonstration. Remember, always hold your thread towards the back when you start to sew. This is done in order to avoid the machine jamming. For satin decorative stitches, select N, O, P or Q on the stitch selector. For the purpose of this demonstration, switch the stitch selector to P and the stitch length dial to between 1 and 0. To sew a 4-step buttonhole, clip on your buttonhole foot. To do this, push the release lever and remove the foot that is there. Then take the buttonhole foot, lower the pressure foot lever and clip the foot into position. Before sewing the buttonhole, mark the position of the buttonhole on your garment by placing the button on the garment and marking the top and the bottom of the button. Now switch the stitch selector to R and the stitch length dial to the position between 1 and 0. Next, place the fabric on the work surface. Now align the buttonhole foot to match the length of the buttonhole marked on your fabric. Lower the pressure foot lever and you are ready to sew the length of a buttonhole. When you have done this, bring the take-up lever to the highest position and change your stitch selector to S. Manually, by turning the balance wheel towards you, sew a few stitches. This is the bar stitch on your buttonhole. Again, ensure that the take-up lever is in its highest position before turning your stitch selector to T. You are now ready to sew the length of the other side of your buttonhole. Once you've done this, again move the take-up lever to its highest position before switching the stitch selector to S and sewing the bar stitch to finish your buttonhole. Bring your needle to the highest position. Lift the pressure foot lever and cut your thread. All that is left to do is to open your buttonhole by using a seam ripper. To sew on a button, you need the zigzag foot. Place the feed dog cover on the feed dog. Next, place the fabric on the work surface and put the button between the zigzag foot and the fabric, and lower the pressure foot lever. Manually, by moving the balance wheel, check that the zigzag you have selected is the correct width for your button. Ensure that the needle enters both holes of the button without any obstructions. Now press lightly on the foot pedal to sew 7 or 8 stitches to secure the button to the fabric. Remember to take off the feed dog cover when you are finished with sewing on the button. There are 2 sides to the zipper foot. This allows you to work on both the right side and the left side. Twin needles are used for decorative sewing, and you can use any stitch. Remove the needle and replace it with a twin needle. When you insert it, make certain that the flat side is facing the back. Pull out the extra spool pin on the right-hand back side of the machine. Now thread the 2 colors of cotton together until you get to the twin needles. Thread one into the left-hand side needle and the other into the right-hand side needle. You are now ready to sew.